then it's absolute muktzah. And the exact category would be C. You particularly only use it for money and credit cards. You don't put anything else inside. But if you put other things also in there, you put things that are not muktzah items in your wallet, let's say, then it will not be muktzah. Then you're not particular only to use it for specific things. In other words, if the wallet you only use for muktzah items, then it's absolute muktzah. And it'll be category C. You particularly only put in specific items. You don't put anything else inside. But assuming your wallet you put besides credit cards and money, you put other things also in there. Non-muktzah items.
What non-muktzah would you put in?
What would be non-muktzah in a wallet? A picture of the Rabbi.
Oh.
Other things that you stick inside that are not necessarily muktzah.
That would be non-absolute.
It could be maybe, yeah, it could be non-absolute also, or just not muktzah at all. You could be putting other things also in it. If you're not particular that you don't put anything else other than muktzah, so now it's not muktzah. Why is it not muktzah? We're talking about it's empty. There's nothing in it. Why should it be muktzah? It would be muktzah if it's an item that you're particular to only use it for specific things. But you're not particular only to use it for specific things. You put it in your wallet, a picture of the Rabbi, you put that on paper, a note, maybe you stick inside the loan, whatever, you put other things, let's say. So if it's empty, if there's no muktzah in it, why should we muktzah? Because use it for muktzah and non-muktzah. So why would it be muktzah? We're talking about when it's empty, right? So when you have muktzah, non-muktzah, and it's inside, then we already discussed. Bus is what's more important, but that doesn't play at all. It has nothing over here. No relevance. What is more important? What's less important? What you put in is the muktzah more important than not important? Who cares? It's an empty wallet, right? So it would only be muktzah if you're particular that you only use it for muktzah items. Right, particularly, don't put you don't stick your wallet anything else. But otherwise, it's not muktzah. Okay, 31. Yes, 31 is A. 32. A. Is everyone following this? Yeah? Everybody on board? Yeah, 32. Yeah, A. 33. You said D, B. If someone does not understand something, you can speak up. Okay? Not a big class, so you could just say what your question is and we can explain it. Okay, so 33 is B. Okay, again, B, C, D, E are absolute muktzah. 34, A. 35, 36, 36.
Oh, F.
36. A paper clip is made to hold papers together. Papers are not necessarily muktzah. You can have vatayas that you're pinning together, all together. Why should a paper clip be muktzah? It could be used for anything. I mean, it could become muktzah if you before Shabbos you put together muktzah papers. Yeah. And the paper clip in itself could be used for anything. 37, iron. A. 38. Right. We're talking about something that's I gave you an example, expensive camera, and there's many examples these days. Something that's not usable for Shabbos, has a primitive purpose, and it's also very delicate. That's pretty much so. When you speak about expensive camera, you don't think the exact example expensive camera, like you're talking about, you're focusing on one item. The idea that you're not allowed, it's an item that's prohibited to be used, and you're very particular about it, that you don't touch this. It's expensive, it's delicate, no anyone touching it, and you can't use it on Shabbos. So pretty much it has no function for Shabbos. There's no purpose. It's useless when it comes to Shabbos. So the result is it's going to be muktzah. Because the level of muktzah generally goes according to its level of usage. 39.
Sorry, what was the iron?
Iron, A,
And then expensive, how many was?
C. 39. 40, I think we had it before, right? 30p, B and C. 41, A. You don't think of umbrella like muktzah. Umbrella is muktzah. If you don't think of it in your mind, why should umbrella be muktzah? Well, you're not using umbrella on Shabbos. So whatever it's designated to be used for, you're not allowed to use it. It's made to be used for outdoors. That's kashmach. So you cannot move it if you want to move it because someone's going to step on it and someone's going to damage it to protect it. Then you can't move the umbrella.
Wait, why is the blank paper B and C? I thought it was just C.
Why is it B and C? Because it's B because it's not a keli, it has no function. Measuring cups. A. I have over here on my notes that I need to look into it. Not sure why. It could be because it could be used to other things also, maybe. So, but offhand, it does whatever it's made for, you can't use. But generally, you cannot measure on Shabbos. The thing is, you're allowed to measure for the purpose of a mitzvah. So it could be. Look into it further to see maybe over here it's a little different. But generally, what it's made for, generally, it's not made to be used. You're not allowed to use it.
You use a measuring cup without
What?
like, if during the week you use a measuring cup, but you don't like use it for measurement, you just use it to roughly like scoop. Like you're not filling it up or being careful.
Exactly. If you use it all week without measuring, then it won't be muktzah.
And
Then it's like a keli that's both for Isser and for Heter, and the lach is, then it's not muktzah at all. Then it's like a keli shenlach in the Heter. Yeah.
for blank paper, if you regularly use it as a bookmark, like throughout the week, you would just take it blank, say this is blank, I put it in my book to keep my spot. Would it,
So you're not talking about that specific blank piece of paper that you use, you're talking about a random blank piece of paper, right? No, no, because it's not designated. No, it's not a keli, it wouldn't help.
before Shabbos, we designated this paper.
Designated, this is the paper I'm gonna use now. So you designated permanent. Has to be designated permanent.
Okay.
Can't just be just for the Shabbos. Has to be, this is what I'm using from now on.
Right.
I mean, you could always decide later on to change, but I'm saying for now, I am designating it. We spoke about sometimes you have windows, when you go to the country, where you have old buildings, with the buildings falling apart, and you open up the window and the window falls down. You have to stick something in to hold it. So if you have like a piece of wood or something and you designate it permanently to hold the window open, then it won't be muktzah. Yeah.
Sorry, does the same apply, like, if I'm a seamstress and I frequently have scraps of fabric? If when I cut those scraps and say they're too small to use for anything else, they are bookmarks from now on, I can use them on Shabbos as bookmarks.
You're saying it so you could use it for Shabbos. You're saying it for real, like you want.
Yeah,
Why are you
like-
designating all of them for bookmarks, and how many bookmarks do you need?
So a lot.
In other words, are you like playing sort of a game here, or because
No,
you're
it's
designating a
really
whole
handy.
thing of?
If I have like at most 10, like I don't ever have
And
more
you
than 10
actually,
of them,
that's what you want.
and it's okay, like during the week, I'll even use them as bookmarks.
If you designate it, yeah, if you designate permanently for bookmarks. I actually have a bunch of like leftover from. Sometimes they have these little flyers that you get up from yeshivas that come and teach, and a flyer of something that they gave out to me. Then it's over. It was like an auction or something, and a whole pack of, not the large papers, but smaller ones, but like thicker ones that say on to the garbage. I have a whole package into bookmarks because they work great. I actually have it. I keep it for bookmarks. Yeah, if other words, that's my plan. I actually want to use it.
Yeah.
It's real, not, if
Oh,
it has to be real, in other words, not just, I don't want it to be muktzah, so it's going, it has to be real, yeah. If that's what you decide to do, then you want to look, yeah. Okay, envelopes.
Yeah.
Envelopes should be F. Why should we muktzah? You can put any paper, not all papers on muktzah. A lot of papers are not muktzah. Did I say this? Yeah, from last week. She,
Yeah.
Yeah. we're just continuing from last week. A fly swatter. Fly swatter is A. Door detached from building. To repeat, okay. It's B. No. Extend
In the house, oh, wait,
door detached from building.
maybe we didn't already have it, sorry. We had
Oh, we
doors cut
did?
From house and door.
Oh, right, we did have it. Okay, I was trying to. No, we had it. We did have it before. Oh, that's from a house, not from a building.
Yeah.
It's a little di-
Or maybe the same.
It's B, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say door detached, I mean anything detached to the building. The handle comes out, the hinges come out, anything that's attached to the building that came out and is not functional now is absolute muktzah. Even if you're trying to repair it, then it's simple to repair. The shelves, like a screwdriver, screw it back in, no big deal. But right now, it came out, the hinge came out, the handle came out, the lock, they see the lock on top, they close the door on top, it fell off. No big deal to screw it back in. It doesn't matter. Now it's not functional. It's absolute muktzah. The extension cords. The torn shoelaces. B. Yeah. 48. Let's repeat. C. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. 49. D. Yeah. 50. Them following this, yeah? B.
Also just for next time you do this, you put broken disher instead of dishes.
Typo
R.
there. Disher, yeah, it's a typo.
Yeah.
Disher. Yeah. 51. B. 52.
A.
53. 54.
Oh, we already did tile.
Yeah, okay.
Also,
All right.
and same with money, we already did it with six.
Yeah.
The
56.
perfectly by 56, A.
Okay. Okay, so everyone following this? Yeah, everybody? 57.
A.
58.
A.
59. You good? Everybody's,
Empty closet.
are you holding on? You with us, yeah? Oh,
It's a daily,
okay,
so it would be A.
what are you talking about, 59?
Yeah.
So keli shemalach d'lisa, a pot is meant to be used for cooking, so it's a keli shemalach d'lisa. You can't just move an empty pot because you don't want it to get damaged because there's a leak coming from under the sink and the pot is going to get damaged. Can't do that. Give me an example.
It was just a.
If you're moving it for a purpose, then you could. For
Yeah.
purpose because you want to use the pot, but as long as if it's to protect it, then you can't. Or if it's with no purpose, also you cannot. 60. 60 is E. Yeah, a lulav, not an estering. Estering is not muktzah. We're talking about a lulav on Shabbos Sukkos. 61. You said B or D?
D.
D. Okay, it's D.
Oh.
61 is D. It fell off the tree on Shabbos, and it's that Shabbos that it's fell off, not the next tree, Shabbos. If it fell off this Shabbos, next Shabbos, it's fine. 62, 63,
Put F and D. Yeah.
right. It could be, it's a machlokes if it's B. Or if it's F, if it's absolute muktzah or if it's not muktzah at all.
Go with F. And I'll tell you why, because you could like, it has to have a hole in there. You could like, if it needs to be pumped up, you pump it up. You need to kind of have to open the vessel. There's one.
On the contrary, that makes it worse, because a ball that has air, no, a ball that has air. And you have to pump it up and air goes out, and if you keep on pumping it, that's even a bigger issue. Actually, even stricter, because there's a concern that the air might go out and you might blow it up in Shabbos. So I'm not discussing such a ball, I'm discussing a ball that you're not with air going out. A ball that, when it smashes, it's over. But a ball with air going out is a bigger problem. That should not be used in Shabbos because of a concern that you might fix the cable. Huh? We're gonna let him tell us about mitzvah. Items that need to be returned. C. Yeah. In other words, we're assuming that you're particular about it. You don't want anyone touching it, messing with it, opening it, because you want to be able to return it, and then you won't be able to return it if you come back to the store and they see it was open, it was used, doesn't look so good, doesn't look as new as when you bought it. 65.
It's for that Shabbos. If they were laid on the Shabbos you're in, then they're.
Correct. Eggs laid on that Shabbos. The next Shabbos, it's fine. Right. It's only for legs like that Shabbos. And the same Yom Tov, by the way, same thing. 66. 67. Very good. What kind of was it lit or not lit? Exactly. So I'm talking about candles that they're not lit, and they weren't lit that Shabbos either. A box of candles that was not used at Shabbos. If it's a candle that was lit, whether it's still lit or it's not lit anymore, that's absolute muktzah. So I'm discussing a box of candles that wasn't lit, that was not used.
I have a question.
A. Yeah.
56.
56.
How about 66?
66.
But we light, right? We light the candle. And then practically right as we light, we're taking our solid. So that's why a lot of people just like.
Turn it down, right.
But technically, it's lit, and then I'm putting, like, so I just drop it. Like.
Good question. Okay. Very good question. You accept Shabbos, you're not supposed to extinguish the candle, the match, because you accept the Shabbos.
Right.
But if you accept the Shabbos, now you're holding muktzah.
Right.
So what's the halacha if someone by accident picks up muktzah on Shabbos? So if it's non-absolute muktzah, you could just put it wherever you want. Within reason, he has to walk the next room. Right. If it's absolute muktzah, there's an argument, does he have to drop it right away or not? It says you should drop it right away, unless it's going to cause the damage to the muktzah. It can be lenient. But still, the proper thing is to drop it immediately. So over here, you are dropping it right away. So really, now let's take that and apply it over here. Okay, so it's really different than what we were discussing. I just discussed in general. Now I'm applying it to the case over here. You accept the Shabbos and you're holding muktzah in your hand. What's the stricter opinion? If you're holding muktzah and it's Shabbos, drop it. And that's what you're doing anyways. You're not holding on to it, waiting. You're not procrastinating.
The long ones, I'll have somebody else. You can see now. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same with putting it down. But let's say you're putting it down, right? You're not procrastinating. You're done and you put it down right away. You have to go like that. I mean, you're going like this. It's really the same, almost the same idea, whether you go like this or whether you go like that, it's the same amount of time, right? You take the match and putting it down. Dropping it is not the same amount of time, it's right by the table. So really, No issue. If you pass it to someone else, same idea, instead of putting it down, you give it to that person. Yes, you have to do it quickly. I mean, not like, I don't mean quick, like, I mean, but just
Yeah.
give it to the next person.
Is it better for them to take it out of your hand than for you to turn and hand it to them?
It's like, I'm just thinking, is it actually a good idea to pass it to someone?
I've never heard of being able to do that, that's why.
It could take a little longer to do it, I'm not sure how. Putting it to someone else's hand. I mean, if that person puts his hand, if you do it, you do it. And if you do it quickly, again, quickly, I don't mean like quickly irresponsibly, but if you do it like the same like you put it down. It should be fine. What do you guys?
Is it better if they, like, as soon as you light, they reach over and take it from your hand rather than you reaching over and giving it to them?
Yeah,
That's
that
faster.
would also be better, yeah, that might be better, I mean, it's also good, yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily better, but it's for sure. You know, makes sense. You take it right away. And it should be immediately. Okay, clear? Okay. 68, a tray for Leichter. What's the status of the tray for Leichter? We're not discussing where there's Leichter on it burning the Shabbos. We're discussing where it's a tray that's meant to put Leichter on it and it wasn't used that Shabbos. If it was used, you already discussed that it becomes absolute muktzah, it becomes a base for the muktzah. We're going to discuss more about the tray soon. Tray for Leichter, if it's a tray just meant to use for Leichter, should be A. It's a Kedish Malach, there is, right?
For 69.
It's that it's made to be used for something that's
That's not absolute, right? Yeah.
A is non-absolute, right?
That's fine.
Is 69 a working battery or,
Any battery, a battery that could be used. You mean a battery that's garbage?
yeah, like one that's been used and is no longer usable?
It's garbage.
Yeah.
Very good. So I was referring to, I said battery, I meant the battery that's work. A working battery is a non-absolute, it's a cable. If you use it, it's non-absolute, looks it, we use for something.
But it's
Hmm?
a tray, it's just a tray. And it's-
Actually,
and-
one second, actually, a battery, I really want to look into it more. I'm having second thoughts about it. About the battery, it could be absolutely, there's some discussion on it. It's not really usable. Like a new button. But itself, it is already a working, I have to look at it, maybe it's absolute muktzah. If it's not working, for sure it's absolute muktzah. If it's, because I said a piece of garbage, like a match that was lit. That's a burnt out match, that's anything that's not usable, non-functional is absolute muktzah. So if the battery is not working, garbage, then it is absolute muktzah. Then it's going to be C. I'm sorry, B. Muktzah machmas gufa, meaning it's not a keli, has no function. Yeah, you want to say something? You? Okay.
Oh, I have a question about 68.
68,
It's
okay.
actually.
A tray for Leichter that wasn't used at Shabbos. It's just a regular tray in the
Right.
china closet that you use sometimes
Yeah.
for just for the Leichter.
Oh.
So it's the same status like the Leichter that was not used at Shabbos, it's a Keshma. Listen, what is it meant to be used for? You only use it for Leichter, you don't use it. We're talking about that you don't use it for anything else. This is what it's meant to be used for. This is what you use it. If you sometimes use it for something else, as a dual purpose, then it's not muktzah. Then it's a kiddush malach b'mahetzah. Okay, like a chair, like a table. It has a permitted function. Even though it also has a prohibited function, but being it's used for both, we don't care what's used more, it's more important. A keli that's used for prohibited purpose and permitted purpose has the status of a keli used designated for permitted purpose. So then it would not be muktzah at all. It would be like a chair, like a table. Even though you use the tray also for leichter, but you use it also to put food on it. So it would have the same status, like, in other words, the fact that it's used for leichter, to put leichter on it, and that may be its primary use, doesn't matter to us, because it's also used for a permitted purpose, so it has the status of something that's also designated for a permitted purpose. So it's different. Are we getting so far what we're explaining over here? It's different than buses. We're talking about a table that's a base for muktzah, non-muktzah. That's different. We're discussing a vessel, a non-absolute muktzah, that's, if its designated function is prohibited purpose, it's non-absolute. But if it's designated purpose, but if it has both, it's used for muktzah. It's used in a prohibited way and in a permitted way, has both purposes, even though the prohibited purpose may be the primary use, but it's for both. It's meant to be used for both. I mean, most of the time you use prohibited purpose, but it's also used for permitted purpose also. So we look at it as keli. This is a keli that is meant to be used for a permitted purpose, and therefore that's the status it gets. The same status like any other keli that's designated for a permitted purpose, like a chair, like a table, the same thing. Get it?
That's what's confusing, because I was thinking that was a utensil, a fork, right? It used to eat,
Right?
so why would it be
So,
non-absolute muktzah?
let's say you have a tray they use for leichter, but sometimes for leichter, sometimes use it to put food on it, to put everything, whatever. Not just so has a dual function, used for both, used for permitted purpose and prohibited purpose. So how do we view it? It's designated. It's called a keli that's designated for permitted purpose or for prohibited. It's for both. Do we say, well, what is the main purpose? Is it like by muktzah, like a table that has absolute mutz on it and permitted items on it? You look at it that way? We say no. We don't go according to what's the primary function. It's different than a keli, than a table that's becoming a base for absolute muktzah. And we discussed all those details about what's more important. From here we say it also has a permitted function. So it's a keli that is designated for a permitted function. That's it. Oh, it's also for a permitted function? Okay, so let it be. But it's also for a permitted function. And therefore we give it the status of a keli that's designated for a permitted function. Like a chair, like a table, like cutlery. Which means you're allowed to move it to any purpose, as long as there's a purpose. There has to be some purpose. Otherwise, there can't be any purpose at all. It can't be that there's no purpose at all. Yeah, is it clear?
Well, at the end of it, it was my fault.
No, maybe it's my fault. A key that's designated for a permitted purpose, like a table, chairs, cutlery, dishes.
Even if
You could
it's
move
not
it,
muktzah at
you
all.
could, so generally the way people say it, and which is pretty much correct, you can move it for any purpose. But there is one situation where you can't. If there's no purpose in moving it, you're just moving it without a purpose. No purpose at all. You're just moving it. Why moving it? No purpose. You're moving it without a purpose. Just moving it without a purpose. Why am I moving this? There's a purpose that's explained. You're moving it without a purpose at all. That you're not allowed. You can't move a chair or cutlery without a purpose. It's a little tricky. I know it is a little tricky because sometimes people fidget and they relax when they move things around. Yeah, there can be, so it could be, yeah, it's not, it could get a little confusing sometimes, but we have to know, but we have to know the basic halacha, because there can be plenty of situations where you're moving it without a purpose. you're moving cutlery without a purpose. Why are you moving it? Don't move it. It has to be some purpose. So yes, there can be situations where, quote unquote, there's no purpose, but it's relaxing the person, let's say it could be. So you have to analyze, is that really what it is? Is it giving him something? But generally speaking, any permitted keli, table, chairs, cutlery, dishes, not pots, cannot be moved unless there is some purpose. If there's no purpose, you can't move it. Now, there are things you could move without any purpose at all, purposeless. Food, drink, and svarim. Then you can move even if there's no purpose at all. Why? I don't know why I'm moving that. But if it's a keli, a table, a chair, cutlery, dishes, things like that, there has to be a purpose. And usually it's not common to have such a situation where, hey, what are you doing? Usually moving for purpose. But there can be situations where you're moving it without any purpose. And that's not allowed if there's no purpose at all. Right? It's not usually discussed because usually there's a purpose. Why are you not? But it could be. You have to be aware of it. I was going to speak more about a tray for lifetime. So going back to buses, the table is a base for leichter and challah. So we said now you can move the table in certain situations because it's a base for leichter and also for challah, right? We discussed all the details before Shabbos and everything. Okay. Now what you're doing is you're putting the challah on the tray. The leichter is on the tray. And you're putting the challah on the tray. Now can you pick up the tray? Is a tray like the table? There's a big machlokes, and it seems that the consensus is or most of the opinions, and that's how it's accepted, is that it doesn't help. You cannot pick up the tray. The tray is designated for the leichter. It's not designated to put challah on it. That's not what it's meant for. But typically put multiple things on it. But if the tray is designated for life, as we discussed, it's not meant for you to put challah. Why are you putting challah on it? Yeah, you're putting challah so you can pick up the tray. That's not what it's for. A table, you put other things also. But the tray is not meant for you to put challah on it. So most opinions hold it's not accepted. Here sometimes it comes up and you'll say, you've never seen it done. There's an opinion, but most opinions don't accept it. And in the situation where everyone would agree that it's not accepted, if you hang the challah from the leichter itself. Let's say you're going to take the leichter and tie a challah to the leichter. So now there's a challah tied to it. Right? That everyone agrees. That's standard because the leichter, you don't put challah on leichter. But the tray, there is a lenient opinion, but it's a very lenient opinion, and most opinions don't accept it. It's really not proper. An electric lamp. What's the status of an electric lamp? Is it like electric lamp that's lit? Electric lamp that's lit. Is it like a candle or is it like a kiddush melach, like a pen? That's a machlokes. It's a big machlokes. How do we view it? Is it like a candle? It's burning. It's absolute muktzah. Or it's like any other item that's put into the wall, like a stapler, like all electronic equipment is non-absolute muktzah. It's machlokes. Some are strict. My father actually lenient. He holds it's a keli. It's like any other keli, like a laptop, like a phone, like a stapler, anything that's put into the wall. It's a keli that's designated for prohibited use. But those are the machmen view it like a candle, like a lit candle. Then it's absolute. So different opinions. It's up to you. Want to be machmen, mako. One more thing. In what situation are you not? We said that you're allowed to touch muktzah if it's sturdy. If it's not going to move and it's sturdy, like a rock, that's absolute muktzah. Or construction material that's sturdy, it's piled up, cinder blocks. If it's not going to move, it's not going to move, you're allowed to touch it. generally you're not allowed to touch muktzah because you might come to move it. But if you know it's not going to move, you're allowed to touch it. Right? Yeah. There can be a situation where you're not allowed to even touch it, even though it's not going to move. And then is if you're doing it for the purpose of the muktzah. Let's say the muktzah is dusty. Think of an example of that. If it's absolute muktzah, and the muktzah is dust, and you want to wipe off the dust. So you're doing it for the protection of the muktzah. So over here, because you're touching it, you're not moving it, but you're doing it for the protection of the muktzah, then you're not allowed to even touch it. Understood? Okay, we will stop here. Any questions? Everyone? Oh, today's Pesach Sheni, so if you keep in mind about the custom that we eat matzah today. Seems from the letter of the Rebbe that the minhag is needed during the day, the 14th day, but then I saw now other letters that the Rebbe wrote, that the Rebbe was saying maybe it should be not last night.
Oh.
Maybe tonight, maybe there's no place just the night before. So apparently the Rebbe had said different things at different times, and that's what it seems, but it seems from one letter that I've seen over the years that it seems that everyone's emphasizing that that the main minhag is during the day. That's the letter that I've seen. The main minhag is needed during the day, because that's when you shut the current Pesach. And then those also do it at night. But now I've seen something that's a quote, maybe, I don't know if it's quoted properly, but that everyone was saying that some do it in the day, some do it at night, tonight. So if you want, you can do both.
How much
So,
do you eat?
how much do you eat? Well, if you, it's an amount. I would say kazais. I mean, you anyways have to eat a little over the size of an egg because you're going to wash. And it's not so doing. Okay, we could have bread also, but I would say it's probably kazais. I don't think it's. I haven't seen where it's discussed exactly how much to eat. There we go.
Yeah. I like this nutrient. I remember it about. It's rescue.
You were gonna say something to me, do you remember what you were gonna say?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I saw that for being like, all the way. But you reminded me of water. That I need toilet bowl. I want about cake.
Oh,
So thank you for reminding me.
you're welcome. I love reminding people to do mitzvahs. That's amazing.
You'll must have made a lot. Okay, without me, guys.
Book, like I always am. I feel like I've been working on this 100 years now. These kids are gonna be bar mitzvah, will have their weddings by the time I actually finish the damn thing. Dude, I just keep giving myself work. Right
It's
now,
really cute.
right now, it's the 40 pages. And every single page has been edited and crafted. Hey, you wanna see?
Yeah.
Hey, ready?
Also, how do you feel about dogs?
No.
Okay.
I'm not
I wasn't
crazy.
sure if it was great. If it was
Why?
great in cats. My dad got a really big puppy.
Oh, I can
But he
check.
found in a field.
Oh, okay. Plans of an 8-5, a sneak peek into the God, a whole year of discovering how every mitzvah brings more light, more of the trans light into this world.
So cute.
Oh, yeah, and then I'm gonna put like one lesson, one governing circle. Why does Hashem create the world? What can I do to shine Hashem's infinite light?
It's a lot of words.
Yeah, she wants it, so I can't do anything about it. And she keeps,
This is such a cute design.
I'm deleting a lot of them. Yeah, whatever. Why am I here? Okay, but what am I? Okay, but why? Oh, it needs to be wild. Why am I mitzvahs important? Hashem's army, reminder everyone is important and have a purpose in this world, and then all the crafts that we did in the visa, Shabbos
This is so
candles,
cute.
Havdalah, Tefillah, drum circle,
Oh my goodness, this is so cute.
they're not decorating, brackets and food, more brackets and food.
You have to present this.
I'm gonna print it. This is what we did, we made a huge
I saw
thing,
that.
yesterday. Something else made a huge stucco box for graduation, the top problem already had actually independent black. And the huge was stuff, that is what we did, and it goes, so they'll have food and clothes and toys, yeah.
I think with my nephews too.
Hosting guests, we have a mitzvah for hosting guests, da da da.
Hello. Good morning. You
Hi.
guys know the special class today, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Rabbi Majeski, gonna talk about Igros Kaidash.
Yeah, 11:45.
Yeah, after. And then don't we have a double of Mrs. Nevy? No, I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, that sounds new to me.
Oh, okay, Shayna told me this last night and I was like, whoa, thank you, Shayna, for the update. And
I
Shayna,
think
today in the
Shayna's-
afternoon, she should be coming in. Okay,
Alright.
burrito, burrito.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant, is Mrs. Emmy doing class during Mrs. Gunsberg's class or no?
Not that I know of.
No, I don't think.
Okay, where did she think? Okay, okay, ignore.
Okay.
Honoring our parents.
Okay, you were so good with design. This is just like so aesthetically pleasing. I'm so cute.
I'm like, okay, this I need to add, okay, and then I need to do one thing on Mashiach. Then we need to go through all the festivals that we did. And then it's called Shiva, so I'm gonna write like, no, that's called Shiva, it's like that. Hanukkah, Tishba, for life.
This is so cute.
Pesach,
Oh,
Shavuos, and then I'll chant, and then a message from me, and then I have to do something,
so
and then I'm gonna send the Spotify code for the Tefillah, for Tefillah.
would you send it to me?
This book? Yeah, happily.
Oh, that's Spotify.
Yeah, my phone's on there, that's fine.
This is so cute.
You probably noticed this on anyways, but yeah.
Amy, like genuinely, I can totally put I think about
So
stuff.
you have no idea, everything, but BH, hopefully they'll
They should appreciate it. Because I
Hopefully
think
they'll
a lot of hard work.
read at least one thing.
I'm so sorry.